Well, you're watching us tonight, and you're not watching myself and Buster Olney, who is supposed to be tonight's guest. And the reason for that is, well, for reasons that we can't explain, and we're not attacking anybody. We don't want it to come across as that way. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, tonight. For reasons we can't explain, we never heard from Buster, and unfortunately, he has not signed on to the program. So it's just me and producer Victor, who you see, and producer Victor warrants a shout out because he has worked very hard to organize this and put this together. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like it'll materialize itself tonight. Again, we don't know why. We haven't heard anything. All indications were that things were a go, just to give you a little inside baseball, and that we were going to have him as our guest tonight for what would be a short show. Wasn't going to be a particularly long show. He's a busy guy. But as we got closer and closer to airtime, just didn't hear anything. We confirmed this yesterday, just to be sure. We confirmed this yesterday, checked off all the boxes that we needed to on our end to ensure that we would be up and running when the time came. And unfortunately for us, it just doesn't look like it's going to happen. Again, we have not heard anything. Your guess is as good as ours in the audience as to why Buster's not here. We hope everything's okay and that nothing of a bad variety happened. But right now, we're just as much in the dark as you guys. And we just like to come on real quick and, of course, not keep you guys in the dark, let you know what's going on. We're very sorry about this. Unforeseen. We had no idea. We have not heard a thing. All indications was this was confirmed, but that's the way it is in show business sometimes. So I guess what we can do for a couple minutes, and here in the live chat, who we have here, we got Darren Phillips. And Darren, yeah, sorry about that. We thought all things were a go, and like I said, I can't stress this enough. This was confirmed yesterday, but there has been no communication since. So right now, I guess we can just kind of spend a couple minutes giving you some inside baseball on who Buster is. ESPN reporter, covers baseball primarily for them since 2003. Spent some time covering the Orioles during the Ripken years, particularly in the mid 90s when they had some really good teams. Covered the Mets in 1997, Bobby V's first full year as their manager, and of course covered the Yankees during their dynasty. He was on that beat from 1998 until about 2001, which covers pretty much all of their championships with the exception of 1996. He was in Baltimore for that. So I don't know, Vic. I mean, listen, if you want to unmute the microphone real quick, we can kind of just spend a couple minutes here. I know you're a shy guy, but that's okay. I'll walk you through it.
How
Don't
you
worry.
doing, pal?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm okay. And I got you here, so that's fine. If I don't have Buster, I got Victor. That's all I need. All I need is my brother here.
This guy.
And Darren says,
Got you,
"Hey,
bro.
things happen. It'll work out down the road. Put him on the on deck circle, and we sure will." And Darren, of course,
Yes,
we'll
sir.
see how your Toronto Blue Jays do this season. And I guess you know
Oh,
what?
Blue Jays guy, nice.
Yeah, he's from Vancouver. I don't know if he's a Blue Jays guy, but we'll see. I guess we can kind of do a little inside baseball on our own here because I'm looking at some of the moves that have been made, some of the guys that are still out there. Of course, as the jersey would indicate, you're a diehard Atlanta Braves fan. For those of you that don't know, diehard Atlanta Braves fan, not one of these bandwagoners. He didn't come onto the wagon during the
2024
2021.
champs, bro.
Probably because I still don't think the Yankees have enough. He didn't come onto the bandwagon during the 2021 championship run. He's been a Braves fan since the 90s. And for
TVS
those that
kids.
don't,
Shout out shout out to all the TVS kids.
I was gonna say, tell the audience why you're an Atlanta Braves fan, despite being from Washington Heights, New York City.
Yeah, I just grew up watching TBS. I had the option to turn on where were the Yankees and the Mets were at that time. I don't remember
Pix
exactly.
11, MSG, Pix 11.
Yeah, but yeah, just used to turn on TBS. I felt that the Braves, the team vibes were different at that time. It was a young, exciting team on the come up. We had a great owner, Ted Turner, at that time, and
I
it was a
forgot,
winning
yeah.
ball club, bro. It was.
Forgot
I
he
mean, we
owned
won
them.
14 straight,
Mhm.
14 straight division titles. So we
It
only
was a
won
heck of
one
a run.
championship, but it wasn't as bad. It wasn't as bad as the New York Mets.
Or the Buffalo Bills, for that matter, too. The Mets shot, of course, is a given. Darren saying talk is Vancouver may get an MLB team, which listen. They have,
They
besides the
should bring them back.
Canucks, they should. I mean, besides the Canucks, who are doing very well this year, by the way, in hockey, they haven't had a pro team outside of the Canucks since since the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies were there, and then of course they left for Memphis in 2002. But the Canucks have pretty much been it. They've never had, I don't know if they have a minor league team over there, but they've never had a major league team. And Vancouver is pretty much a perfect city for it. It's a big enough city. Population's big. I
Yeah.
think it's the second biggest city in Canada outside of Toronto. So, I mean, if you don't bring the Expos back, and put the Expos back in Canada, in Montreal specifically, you can go the route of putting a team in Vancouver. The Vancouver Expos, why not?
I was about
Um,
to say they should bring the Expos back.
it's a money thing. Well, they still have the stadium. The stadium is what's Olympic Stadium, which is still there.
Yeah.
It's still there. So, and it just hasn't been used for baseball since the Expos left in 2004. And listen, it's been done before. In hockey, Darren would understand this. The Winnipeg Jets left in 1996 and became the Arizona Coyotes. And in 2011, the Atlanta Thrashers left Atlanta and became the Winnipeg Jets. So the Winnipeg Jets came back after
Came
15
back.
years. So it's always possible that a franchise could relocate and become, the Montreal Expos again.
That's a classic logo, bro. The Expos logo.
It is. It
Classic.
is. It's. I would love to get a jersey, either a Pedro Martinez jersey, Vladimir Guerrero jersey.
Vladdy.
Darren
Yeah, Vladdy
saying
would be nice.
that would be a good one. Darren saying when the Blue Jays play the Seattle Mariners in Seattle, half the fans are Blue Jays fans. Vancouver's just 2 hours from Seattle. That's true.
Yeah.
It's right there.
Makes sense.
It's right there by Canada. But I guess we can kind of just, like I said, kind of go through what we're seeing here for the league this
Before
year.
we head into that, they're in regards to expansion, they've been talking about Nashville and Salt Lake City.
Nashville, I can see. Salt Lake City, I don't understand. And that's not me knocking the city. I just don't understand it from the standpoint of, well, what's the market? What's the population?
Yeah.
It could be viable because I've heard that a lot. I mean, they're very loyal to the Utah Jazz out there.
Yeah, they are.
So I can see them embracing an MLB team. Man, they could even have an NFL team. And I think the NHL has talked about Salt Lake City as a destination as well. So when it comes to expansion,
move the Marlins, bro. Get the Marlins out of Miami.
No. The reason they have, I think now they have the fan base has always been there for the most part. They've been treated poorly because, of course, there was, you get a championship in 1997 and they tear the team down.
They knock it down. Yeah, they just
they
knock it
get
down
a championship in 2003, and they just said, enough of this, and we'll go back to being mediocre and irrelevant again. But there's enough of a fan base now, and they have an exciting young team now that I think you can keep them there. They got the new ballpark. The key was them getting the new ballpark all those years ago because they couldn't keep playing in Joe Robbie Stadium. So once they got out of Joe Robbie and got their own park, it ensured that they would never leave. But it's Tampa Bay's kind of in the situation right now where it's unique. Tampa Bay is a consistently good team. They win 99 games, won 99 games, I should say, last year. They're pretty much always in it. Went to the World Series a couple years ago during the COVID season. Even the year before that, they won 97 games, and they always do it with spare parts. They're kind of like the MLB version of the Spurs.
I don't know how they do it, bro.
They pluck random guys off the street or guys that that we thought were done, and boom, they just year after year fix them consistently. I mean, to give you context, I can't name one guy except for Tyler Glasnow from the 2019 Rays, and that team again won 97 games and took the Houston Astros, who had Garrett Cole, who had Charlie Morton at the time, who had Justin Verlander, to 5 games in the ALDS.
Yeah.
So they've done this consistently, but the problem is they get no attendance down there because even though they're working on a new ballpark, let's say that new ballpark doesn't happen. Let's say they don't get a new ballpark. They were talking about splitting time in Montreal.
Yeah,
so
I remember they did bring that up.
Hey, Montreal is in a unique position where they can absorb, really Quebec as a whole can absorb a hockey team. Because hockey's religion down there, and they have an arena designated for hockey for a minor league team plays there, but it's NHL ready, and they can absorb an MLB team. It would just, whenever the Blue Jays were playing exhibition games there, the reception was enormous, and I get it. They were having money problems at the end. They were splitting their time in Puerto Rico, if you remember. They were playing home games at one point in Puerto Rico in their last couple of years, and there's a Netflix documentary coming up about their departure from Montreal. And what led up to it.
I definitely want to watch that.
We got to watch that, you and I. Because I want to see. I want to see what led to that. Loria.
I think they're working on a Red Sox documentary also, right?
For what specifically? 2004
the 04 championship. Yeah.
Well, it's 20
I think for
years
this season as well.
Well, it's 20 years. Yeah, it makes sense.
I saw they're doing what is it? The NFL version of that?
Hard
where
Knocks.
they followed. Yeah, they're
Hard
doing an
Knocks.
MLB version
Looking
of
back
Hard
on,
Knocks,
I
but
mean,
then they're
yeah, I
starting with
guess
the Red Sox for the
they should.
2024 season.
Whenever a Red Sox fan brings up 2004 to me, it doesn't bother me one iota because I'm like, I was 4 years old. I have zero record. You're not tell that to an older Yankee fan because I'm like, I don't. 2018 hurts. You want to hurt me? Mention 2018. Mention the wild card game from a couple years ago. That's how you
Yeah.
ding me. You don't ding me with 04 because I don't. I don't know what was
Mike
going on back
said,
then.
"I wasn't there, pal.
I wasn't.
I don't feel nothing.
I don't feel nothing. I mean, a Yankee fan of a certain age will. I don't. But
Yeah.
speaking of, they made, of course. I guess we can kind of get into the present. The Yankees made Juan Soto, big get. Alex Verdugo, big get, which I like. Two lefties. Soto, of course,
Yep.
being the bigger of the two. Played 162 games last year. Hits for average, which I love. You know how much I love a guy that hits for average because that's a lost
Yep.
hour. Kyle Schwarber had 40-something home runs. He hit 196, I think. And I hate that.
He killed
Soto's
us,
not.
though, bro.
Well, yeah,
He killed us.
we'll get into that in a second because that's just what the Phillies do. But so the lineup is revamped. Rizzo's free from his concussion problems, which is good. And you'd like to
Are
see
they
that.
sure about that? You sure
Well,
about that?
I hope he passed all the scans.
Yeah, that's what they're saying, bro. I don't know.
He's ready to go. I mean, he had all this time to heal. He had all this time to heal.
Yeah.
And by the way, folks, we're not counting this as an episode. We're just a spitball and consider this just like a bonus. Yeah, this is not 306.
This is a
306
bonus segment.
Yeah, we'll
Is it
rename
going to be
a
an
bonus.
audio version?
Do you want it to? I mean, I don't care.
We could make an audio version.
Yeah, we'll just title it, a bonus version, Producer's Corner.
Yeah.
306 will be next week, but whatchamacallit? So they balanced out the lineup where you hope Rizzo's healthy and you hope he's healed up. He's had enough time to heal from his concussion that I think he is. Soto and Verdugo are lefties, and that balances out the rest of the lineup to where I think it'll be a much improved offense.
Who's your third baseman?
DJ.
Oh, DJ's playing third?
Because you have
second?
DJ.
Who's that second?
Glaber.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Who's really, besides
Volpe
Judge.
at short.
Yeah, Volpe. Listen, Volpe, I have no issue with. He had, I didn't. I mean, hopefully his batting average goes up. He did his job last year. He did his job last year. Let me pull up his numbers from last year. I think he hit 20 home runs, if I'm not mistaken. I have to go back and check exactly the exact numbers for
Who's
him.
your catcher again?
Trevino, which I'm not. It's kind of like
catcher's a bit thin, bro. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
you guys are a bit thin.
We haven't had one since Russell Martin.
Yeah,
which is over a decade ago. I mean, that's about 12, 13 years ago that Russell Martin left, and Gary Sanchez had a couple of years. But really, with Gary Sanchez was about 1 year, maybe two, and then it's been a minute. It's the same in New York. It's really been this way. That
even the Mets, right?
The Mets haven't had a catcher since Piazza.
Yeah,
they've had guys come in.
Didn't they have Paul Lo Duca for a little bit?
Well, I'm talking about a guy that you can hold
I know,
down for 5-6 years. Lo Duca was good.
He was nice. He was nice. Yeah,
Lo Duca was a good player. I like Paul Lo Duca. He was good.
Yeah, I remember.
But as far as a franchise guy that you don't have to worry about, okay, we know we're set here. Let's worry about everything else. They had that from 1998 to 2005, and then they haven't had it since. It's kind of been a revolving door at that spot, and that's why you don't know what you have until it's gone. And I feel that as a Yankee fan because catcher since Posada left and then Russell left, it's kind of been a revolving door. But the Yankees currently, as constructed, would be Trevino behind the plate. I don't know who the backup is because Higashioka went in the Juan Soto deal. I think it would be.
Yeah,
he got traded. I think it's Ben. It's Roarvet. I don't know how you say his last name, but it's him. I think. So that guy came over in the Donaldson trade, which was, of course, one of the worst trades the Yankees have ever made. But hey, Brian Cashman knows best. So Trevino's at catcher, Rizzo's at first, Glaber, who besides Judge was really one of our only consistent hitters last year. He'll be playing second. You got Volpe at short, who, like I said, he did his job last year. I got no issue with him. DJ's at third. Hopefully, he's finally healthy. Left field, you got Verdugo. Center, you got Judge, I believe. Right is Soto. I would like to see Stanton play the field more, honestly, because here's the thing I don't understand. It's not like Giambi. When Giambi came to the Yankees, it was very clear, okay, we need to take him off first base and put him in the DH spot and have somebody who can play first base because he can hit, but he can't field. The older he got, he was not a good fielder. So it kind of started around 2004, and it ran this way for the rest of his time as a Yankee to where they had John Olerud there in '04 at first base. They had Tino Martinez come back in 2005 for one more year, and he played first base while Giambi DH'd. Giambi put up the offensive numbers, but he was a butcher in the field. That's not Stanton's case. Stanton's, when he plays the field, he's a perfectly capable outfielder. He may not
Yeah.
win a Gold Glove, but he's not going to kill you with his defense out there. And he's lighter.
No, yeah. I saw him. He's looking great, bro.
He's lighter, which is good.
Hopefully he's able to stay on the field, man.
And he's
That's a
accountable. And
problem.
he seems like a good guy. He seems like a great teammate. I want the guy to do well. It's just he gets hurt getting out of bed. So that's the trouble with him. But having him as a DH, I don't think helps because a couple of years ago, he was playing the field with a consistent 2021. He was playing the field with a consistent routine out there on a consistent basis. And that was one of his best seasons. He had 97 RBIs, 39 home runs. He was our best hitter down the stretch. He was the only one in that wild card game against Boston that was hitting.
No, he was going off. I remember that. Weren't we watching that?
Well, we were watching
in Norwalk, right?
It was a regular season game against the Red Sox. He had a go-ahead grand slam.
That's in the eighth inning. That shot, bro.
It was. If not for him and Judge, we wouldn't have sniffed the wild card game because that team was awful in the first half of the year. And I had to watch Joey Gallo for a whole half of baseball, which I'll never forgive Brian Cashman for, amongst many other things I'll never forgive him for. He's certainly never going to be on the Mike the New Haven podcast. I can guarantee that. But that being said, let me take a swig of water here.
Yeah, go ahead, bro. I'm working on sending here myself.
New show idea: run the bases with Mike and Vick. I like it. We'll call it that. Producer's Corner, running the bases for this bonus segment.
That.
But
that's cool.
I look at the pitching. We'll see if Blake Snell signs. If
they're calling it, what is it they're calling it? The Boros 5 or now it's 4?
Well, good. And I get it.
Now it's 4.
I get it. And now it's 4. Because Bellinger went back to the Cubs for significantly less money. Now, before the Yankees got Soto, I would have rather they went out there and plucked him up. Now, listen, I don't mind them getting Verdugo. Verdugo's a good player. He's a good fielder. But if they didn't get Verdugo in that trade, I would have had them get Bellinger, because Bellinger, he's got the history.
Bellinger would have been a great fit.
His dad was a Yankee, 2-time champion with us, 1999 and 2000. He was the backup. He was the fourth outfielder, and he was pretty good. Clay Bellinger was a pretty good player. Cody, I could have seen Cody fit in left field just fine. Cody would have been our perfect left fielder. But again, I'm not going to complain. Verdugo's good.
Verdugo, he has some edge to him. Same thing with Marcus Stroman. I think that's going to help you guys, bro. You guys need someone. You need players with fire like that.
Well, here's I'm glad you brought up Stroman, because the rotation currently, Rodon, I'm expecting a bounce back season from him. He was hurt last year. He was dealing with a lot of issues with his health. So you just chalk that up to a lost year. Listen, it happens. Players are dealing with injuries. When you're feeling terrible, you're just not going to be able to function. It doesn't matter what kind of job you have, let alone as an athlete. If you're not healthy, you're not going to do the best job you can. It's just all there is to it. So him being healthy now and having put all that stuff behind him and having had a whole offseason to heal up, I think he'll be better. Stroman, say what you will about him. Some people don't like him personally. Me, I'm indifferent towards him as a person. He doesn't seem like a bad guy. He just seems annoying, to some at least. I never was annoyed by him, but I can see why some people were annoyed by him. But he's a good pitcher. So you have him in your rotation. You have Rodon. Cole is coming off a Cy Young. Nestor, I think, same thing with Nestor. He's healthy now. So now that Nestor's healthy, I expect a bounce back season from him. You slot Snell in there, it's a decent rotation. The bullpen, you can kind of just let that be. It's fine for what it is. It's not the powerhouse bullpen it had been in recent years, but it'll get you by. Not. I don't trust the closer's position. We haven't had one since Mariano, and don't count Chapman, because I will reach through the screen and fight you if you do. So if I don't know, I'm thinking my prediction for the Yankees is 94 wins. I don't know if they'll win the AL East.
Sheesh, 94, bro.
Is that low or is that high?
I think that's a little high, bro. How many wins you guys had last year? 81?
They had 82.
81 and 81, right?
They revamped the lineup. When you had one of the best pure hitters in the sport to your lineup, to balance it out with another pure hitter, one of the best in the sport, in Judge, And then you add a good lefty who can hit for average in Verdugo, and you add a healthy Rizzo back who's healed up, we think, and LeMahieu who's healed up, and Stanton hopefully too. You'll get an extra 10 wins. Remember, we didn't have Judge most
I'm
of
gonna
the year.
say
Judge,
90, bro. I'm gonna say
that's
90.
fair.
Remember, the
Remember,
Orioles are still good.
well, we're not. They're
Orioles
not
are
going to win.
good.
The Orioles are going to win excuse me. The Yankees aren't going to win the division. The Orioles probably are. Either the Orioles or Tampa. Toronto's good. No
Orioles,
disrespect to them, but
Boston. I really don't know if they got any better,
it
honestly.
can go either way. I can see them losing 92 games. I can see them winning 92 games.
It's a coin toss for them. The Rays are the Rays. They're always gonna be sneaky good.
I expect that.
And the Blue Jays. I don't know about the Blue Jays. I mean,
Same thing with. The Blue Jays kind of just fell off.
Yeah.
They
What
fell
are they
off towards
missing?
the
What are
back
the
half.
Blue Jays missing? Is it pitching? Because they have pretty good position players.
They're missing America because they're in Canada. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Well, listen. If you look at their infield is good. I like Matt. Well, Matt. The thing is, with Matt Chapman, you can afford to have a player like Matt Chapman in your lineup, as long as you have hitters that are surrounding him that are good. And you're gonna laugh at me, but I hate to bring this up, but I will because he's a much better player. Ray Ordonez in the late '90s Mets lineups.
Oh
Yeah,
boy,
we're gonna make a Ray.
we got to get
Ordonez
him on the show
tonight.
for you, man.
We gotta get.
We have to get him on the show.
We're gonna get Ray Ordonez on the show. If he could
hey Ray, if you're listening, he probably is listening. Ray, if you're listening, you got to come on the show, pal.
I'm not saying this in a bad way. Is his English good? Because I know some is his good enough to. I don't know.
We do it in español. We do it in español, papi.
Abriendo el juego. We could do something like that with Ray Ordonez.
Corriendo las bases.
Corriendo las bases. Con Mikey Vick. But Ray Ordonez, you could afford to take the 1999 Mets. He missed most of 2000 with an injury. But 1999, when you're in a lineup with Ricky Henderson, Edgardo Alfonso, John Olerud, Robin Ventura, Benny Agbayani, Roger Cedeno, who else did they have on that team? Melvin Mora, and you got Mike Piazza there. You can afford to put a guy.
Perez at that time?
He wasn't there yet. He got there the next year.
Not yet.
He was in the minors at the time.
Though. He was good.
Oh, he was good. Yeah, listen, he helped him get to the World Series in 2000.
Todd Zeile came afterwards, right?
Todd Zeile came in 2000 to replace Olerud.
Yeah,
but that 99 squad, he was good. I like Todd Zeile. We should try to get him on the show. Ray Ordonez, you could afford to put him 8 or 9 in your order because you got all those guys ahead of him that are great hitters, and are professional hitters. That it doesn't hurt you. It's the same thing with Toronto. You can afford to have a Matt Chapman because it's the same principle. You knew Ray was not going to help you at the plate. He was going to help you with his glove. That's what he was there for.
Save runs,
And he did. Same thing with Matt Chapman. Matt Chapman is not going to help you with his bat. He's going to hit 200 or 220. He's going to have his 25 home runs because he's a big, strong guy. He's going to get his 25 home runs. He's not there for his bat. He's there because he's the best defensive third baseman in the sport.
He's going to give you Gold Glove caliber defense. That's all you need, bro.
Yeah, I wanted the Yankees to get him.
That would have been good for you guys.
But I think with Toronto, it's just there's enough talent there. It's just the amount of underachieving, I think.
Hopefully, Alex Manoah. I heard he's been doing great, spring training wise and all that. But
it helped.
He had that issue last year.
It helped Roy Halladay because the late Roy Halladay and boy is he missed, and it's such a shame he's not with us anymore. He's missed. Doc Halladay, what a great pitcher he was, and what a tragic loss he was. He died much too young. Roy Halladay, but in 2000 or 2001, one of the two, he got sent down to single A. And here was a guy that was starting at the major league level for a couple years by that point. He could have taken that 1,000,001 ways.
That humbles you up, bro.
It humbled him. It humbled him big time. Yep. And he came back and went on to become a Hall of Fame pitcher. So I'm not saying that's going to be Manoah's case. We don't know. But sometimes you just need to hit that reset and start from scratch and work your way back up. And kind of,
what I'm going to go out and say? He'll be top 5 in the Cy Young voting.
Wasn't he a couple years ago?
I think he was, yeah. He might have been runner up or something like that, or at least top 5 for sure. So. But I think he'll turn it around, bro.
Man, I think it's one of those things.
Top 5 this year.
And Darren, he's not a Maple Leafs fan; he's a Canucks fan. But you know what, Darren, in Canada, what do they talk about all the time with the Maple Leafs? Yeah, I don't hate the Maple Leafs. I'm just saying this in general. The Maple Leafs and the Blue Jays are kind of the same. They both have elite talent, some of the best talent in their sports, respectively. But when it comes time for the playoffs, something just always seems to go wrong, and then they just underachieve. The Maple Leafs, up
Yeah,
until last year, hadn't won a first round series since 2004. And think about the talent they've had in the last few years. If you're a hockey fan, you know the names. I don't have to say them. And it's the same thing with Toronto. There's no reason why Toronto can't make a deep playoff run and go to the LCS. I think this team has just as much talent, if not slightly more, than those teams that went to back ALCSs in 2015 and 16. You know,
yeah,
so
absolutely.
I think it's a mental thing,
I feel like the
and
lineup might be a little better
yeah,
now.
yeah, and I look at them and I see the Yankees of 2004 to 2007, especially 2005 to 2007. We have all the talent. The pitching maybe was a little suspect for the Yankees. That's a little different, but we have all the talent. We have at least 4 or 5 legit MVP candidates in our lineup. We have at least 4 or 5 30 home run guys in our lineup. We should be in the World Series every year, yet we can't beat the Angels in the first round. Yet
That's a
Kenny
foul, bro.
Rogers in 2006 is pitching like God, and
It's
midges in two
ungodable, bro.
and midges in 2007 are ruining our lives. But we don't have to go down that rabbit hole.
That's the
Um,
beauty about baseball, though, because
is
it's
it?
so unpredictable, man.
Is it really?
It's so it's unpredictable, and you really need to have all three um parts of the ball clicking, man, at the same time.
Gary
You need the
Sheffield, you didn't hit in the
pitching,
playoffs, but that's okay.
defense, and hitting, man, to click at the same time. It's hard to do, bro.
Jarrett Wright, you're a war criminal. That's okay. Haven't forgot
and
about you,
then
Jarrett.
and then again, you can have it click in 162 games, and then just have it die out in the playoffs like we did last year and the year before that.
Randy
So
Johnson, Game 3, 2005
it can happen too.
ALDS. Still going to hold that over your head. Great pitcher. Except for that night. And
This guy.
2006. No, listen, that's the thing with your Braves. It's the same thing. You have Matt Olson. You have a lineup literally of a murderer's row. And this guy, for context, was saying,
8
"Oh,
All Stars last year.
this offense is as good as the 27 Yankees. It might even be better.
It was
We're
better, bro.
a lineup with Lou Gehrig, Babe Ruth in it,
It was
amongst
better,
others.
bro. We had some pop, man. We had
Statistically,
we had way more pop, bro.
Matt Olson hit like
I'm
what
talking about
54,
power wise. Dudes weren't hitting that many bombs back then.
except for Babe, but
Yeah.
and Lou. But well, hang on a second. Matt Olson hit 54 last year.
Yep.
How many did Ronald hit? Like what he hit? Like 40?
Yeah, like 40 something.
Let me put
Might
up.
have
Let
been
me
like
put up the
42 or something like that. Ozuna, I know, had 40.
Ozuna from the Braves. I
Yep.
forget. Well, he
Ozuna
had a
from Braves.
resurgence.
Uh-huh.
He had a resurgence last
He
year.
turned it around, bro.
He
I don't
did.
know.
You
I
you
don't
were
know
done
what
with
he
him.
did.
You were done.
Yeah, I was.
With him.
I'll be honest. I wanted him gone, bro.
I don't blame
This
you.
is why I don't make the calls, man. This is why
Exactly.
I'm
Same
just
thing with
producer
me.
Vic, bro.
Don't sell yourself short. So last year, he
I would have
probably
released
should
him,
have.
bro.
Who won it? Who won an MVP last year? Was it Mookie?
No, Ronald.
Oh, Ronald got it. Okay, he did
Yeah,
get it.
yeah.
73 stolen bases. I
42
think is
homers,
that
right? Or was it
41. Wait, what? Ricky
41?
had Ricky has a single season record, right?
For stolen
For
bases?
stolen bases, he
I
has
believe
to.
so, bro. Yeah, I believe so.
73 is nothing to sneeze at, but I don't think anybody's touching Ricky. So Ronald, he only
Yeah.
missed 3 games last year. I'm just going to go through the statistics in order because I have them in front of me. 41 homers for Ronald, 106 RBIs, hit 337. Austin Riley, 281, who I love. Austin Riley's great. 37 home runs, 97 ribbies.
Yeah.
Olson had a legit MVP case.
Yeah.
He had a very legit MVP case. 104 walks, 139 RBIs, 54 home runs.
Killed it.
Played every game. Played every game.
Yep.
And Ozzy had 33 home runs. Ozuna he had an even year. Pretty good average, too. 274
Yeah.
average.
He turned it
Exactly
around,
100
man.
RBIs.
It's unbelievable what he did.
Exactly 100 RBIs and 40 home
He
runs.
actually hit his 40th home run on the last game of the season, which tied the team record with 307. He was the one to tie it up with the Minnesota Twins. I think
So
the 2019 Twins, right? Was it
the Bomba
or
Squad is what
21?
they were called
Yeah.
until they ran into the
Yep.
Yankees in the postseason. Yankee offense, which I'm not gonna lie. I was afraid of that Twins team because that Twins team they had Nelson Cruz, they had quite a few guys that were hitting bombs during that regular season. That was a very good team. They just they see the Yankees and they melt. But even Michael Harris missed some time. He had 57 RBI. Was he platooning last year, Michael?
No, he just had a slow start.
We caught on. He still hit 290. He hit 18 home runs. Rosario hit 21. Sean Murphy hit 21. Arcia hit
I hope he has a year like
17.
the one he had last year.
He had 17
If he
home
does
runs.
that again, he'll be fine.
Darno hit 11, and even Kevin Pillar hit 9. But here's the thing with the new format, and this is what's annoying about this whole thing, and we were talking about this, and I can put this on the air, is that with the current format, I didn't mind the addition of the wild card game. The wild card game I thought was a good addition because what it prioritized was winning your division. You don't want your season to come down to one game and one game only. So what does that put the incentive on? I better do all I can if you're a general manager to construct a team that can win the division. Then we can kick our feet up, relax, and we don't got to worry about it.
We don't got to worry about it.
And that was good. They had it. They had the perfect format. The perfect format. Did not need to change a thing.
But because the NBA,
exactly.
Then whatever the NBA does, MLB wants to do.
Because COVID messed it up. Where the NBA said, okay, we're going to have a play-in. Oh, we're going to keep this. Even LeBron said it. I don't like LeBron, but LeBron said, I'm not going to quote him word for word because there's a swear word in there, but whoever came up with that stuff, he used a different word for stuff, should be fired. And I agree with him. Because last year, the Lakers were the 7 seed, just as a quick aside, and they had to be in the play-in as a 7 seed, and they won. So the 2 teams that would have ended up as a 7 and 8 seed anyway ended up as a 7 and 8 seed out of the play-in. So what's the point of it? There's no rhyme or reason to have it if the exact same teams that would have been there anyway end up there. So get rid of it. And when I'm doing franchise mode in NBA 2K, I get rid of that garbage because it's like, listen, if you're not good enough to crack the top 8, you shouldn't be there. Same thing with baseball. With baseball. So where now with this new format, the Brewers the team that has the worst record.
Stop simulating the games, by the way, bro.
No, never. Don't air me out like that. I'm going to keep simulating until the day I die. So that being said, the division winner with the worst record of 3 gets put in a position where now they have to play in a wild card series to where it's like, wait a minute. And this is nothing that, you haven't heard before, but the audience hasn't heard it, which is, hold on, 20-second timeout, flag on the play. We did our job. We went through a whole 162 games.
You went through the gauntlet, bro. 162 games is different, bro.
It is, of any sport. We went through the gauntlet. We won 92 games. We win our division, which is what we're supposed to prioritize, right? And as a result of winning our division, you're going to throw us into a wild card series, which wasn't the point of the wild card series, not the series, but the game at first, to avoid something like this. And now you're going to throw us into this anyway, even though we did our job, just because we're not the Dodgers, just because we're not the Braves. We still had it's not like they won the division at 82 and 80. They were 92 and 70, which is a very respectable record. 92 wins. Hey, the 1997 Florida Marlins won 92 games and they won the World Series. So 92 and 70 is not a record to sneeze at. And yet they ended up in a stupid situation like that playing Arizona.
And on top of that, you win your division, the top 2 seeds, and you get a whole week off. I mean, I know some people. Yeah, I think most teams rather just continue playing, bro, instead of killing the momentum and sitting out for 5-6 days and then getting the doors blown off.
Exactly.
What happened with the only.
2 years, I think 2 years in a row.
2 years in a row. That's what I actually wanted to ask Buster if he thinks if same thing happens again this year, if he thinks there's going to be any certain changes to the format.
A regression to or a reversal to the previous format, because here's the thing, Phillies,
it's insane.
And it is, and this is what we brought up off air, and this is kind of for those of you in the audience, these are pretty much the same conversations that him and I have off air all the time.
Yeah, that's what we do.
We're just bringing it to you for the first time in a podcast form, if you will, because Buster Olney's not here tonight. We'll have to wait another day to get him. Is that if you are the Philadelphia Phillies the last couple of years,
word on it, by the way, we have to reschedule.
Okay,
I got a response here, so we'll be rescheduling in the future. We'll have him.
We
Yep.
will have him at some point, and we'll see if we can get him on for a future date. However, with that in mind, I mean, you have a situation like the Philadelphia Phillies, where the Philadelphia Phillies could essentially say, all right, Atlanta, you got it. Or even the year before that, when the Mets won 101 games, all right, Mets, you got it. You
Yep.
guys can go out there. You win your 101 games. We're gonna be chilling here. We'll play just good enough to stay in the mix. We'll
That's the
make sure we
problem.
have a
Yeah.
hold on one of the wild cards. And then in October, they turn it up because they have a bunch of guys that know how to play in those situations, and they're built for October. They're perfectly built for October, and they know how to function in that. And
That's
here's the
the
thing,
thing. Yeah.
too, and this is what hurt Baltimore last year, too. If you're still playing and you never stopped, you're in a rhythm. We've seen it 2 years in a row. You're in a rhythm.
You're in
You
a
haven't
rhythm,
had
bro.
time to rest. Therefore, your momentum carries over. Therefore, you're
Yep.
able to have an advantage of still being in game mode, where teams like Atlanta last year or teams like Baltimore last year did not have that same
Dodgers.
luxury. The Dodgers,
Yeah.
same thing last year and the year before that, did not have that same luxury because they've been in rest mode, where San Diego was in game mode, where Philadelphia was in game mode, where Texas was in game mode. And people are going to bring up the Houston Astros. And again, that's the
I was
exception
about
to
to
the rule.
say that's the only team, and I think the Yankees. Before when was it? 22, right?
Well, the Yankees, yeah, the
They got out
Yankees
the
in
first round.
2022,
They
but even
barely got out
then,
the first round
barely.
with the
Look at that.
Twins. Yeah.
I wouldn't even
Yeah.
use them as an example with the Indians.
Yeah.
It was the Indians that they beat in the first round of 5 games.
The
They were
Guardians.
down.
Guardians.
Ugh, don't get me started on that. If you get me on, don't get me on a Cleveland Indians rant tonight, because I will. We'll get this podcast demonetized if I do.
Guardians. Guardians. Don't forget Guardians,
Uh,
man.
no. Ugh, disgusting. Worst name ever. Should have never changed. I'm not. I'm not going. You're not going to get me to do a Cleveland Indians rant tonight. Just you're not. I'm going to fight the urge. I'm going to control myself. I'm going
Don't
to be a
do it.
diplomatic professional.
Don't
I am
do
not
it,
going
bro.
down that rabbit hole. We will save that for off the air. But I will just tell the audience, as you can tell by my reaction, I do not like the new name. I think it's dumb for a variety of reasons, which I will not say here. And they will always be the Cleveland Indians to me. That being said, the Yankees in 2022 were down in that series 2 games to 1. All right. They had to have Garrett Cole come and rescue them in game 4. And they barely won that game 4.
That's what I'm
And they
saying.
barely
They
got into
barely
that game
got him.
5. So the Astros are the exception to the rule. And so I hate when people point to that.
And
It
I
took
don't know how
these.
they do it, bro. I really don't. And actually, no. That first year, they barely beat the Mariners. I think they were all like 1-run games. Remember that?
Well, it was a
In
sweep. It was a
22.
sweep, but it don't
It
just
was
because it
all
was.
they were all 1-run
They were all
games.
close
Yeah.
games. One of those games went 18 innings. So
Yeah.
even then, they were taxed and exhausted. And I feel like these new age baseball fans, everything's great to them. Everything's awesome. They just want to evolve with the game. And I get it. You don't want to be an old curmudgeon. You don't want to be bitter about it. But some things just shouldn't be changed. So, when they get snarky online, they say, well, Houston didn't have a problem with it. Again, there's exceptions to every rule. That is your exception. When you look at other teams, I'm sorry, I'm not a Dodgers sycophant. I don't hate the Dodgers like some people do. I don't care one way or the other. They want to stack it. I'm a Yankee fan. I root for a franchise that has a history of stacking the deck, for crying out loud. So if the Dodgers want to do that, hey, more power to them. That being said, you shouldn't have an 111 win team like last year get knocked out in round 1, nor an 100
That's
win team
crazy,
like
bro.
last year get knocked out in round 1, just because a team like the Arizona Diamondbacks, that if the year was any other year besides the last couple of years, would not have cracked the wild
They would
card
have been
game.
home, bro.
They would have been
They
home.
would
A
have been home,
respectable
bro.
year, a decent year, 84 and 78. Hey, the Marlins, 83 and
Same
79.
record, I think, right? The Marlins had same record,
A
right? Or
game
no?
apart. A game apart,
Game
83 and
apart?
79. They would have been home in any other year, watching the postseason from the same place you and I would have been. And yet, in this
Yep.
new format, here they are. The Phillies, same thing. Great players, 87 and 75 and 22. I think they had the same record this year. They would have been home, you know? And you
Yep.
take away the drama of the tiebreaker. Last year, we should
That's
have had
big
a Mets
too.
Braves tiebreaker. Think
Yes,
about
and
some of the
22.
greatest.
Yep, 22. That
Think
would have been
about
epic, bro.
Think about some of the greatest moments that we've experienced in baseball history. 1978, Yankees Red Sox, the Bucky Dent game. That was a tiebreaker. I'll give you a more recent one, and you and I both remember this one. 2009, Tigers and Twins, last day of the
Yep.
season. or game 163, excuse me, tiebreaker for the AL Central. One of the best games in recent memory. That was an epic
Mm-hmm.
game. Epic game. Hey, Louis, he's in the chat tonight. He's watching us. That was an
LOL
epic.
Mets.
Mets. We'll talk about the Mets in a second. That was a great tiebreaker, or even
Didn't the Pirates have one? The Pirates and the Reds or something like that? Or no?
That was a
that was a
card
series,
game.
maybe.
Wild card game.
Yeah.
Pirates, Reds. But even whatchamacallit, 2011. 2011, where it went down the wire, and there was that extra game. I know that hurts for you. I don't mean to bring up bad memories, but there was a 163 that year. It wasn't just you; it was the Red Sox. No, listen. You know what? The championship erases everything. 2021 erased all that. Everything that hurt you in the past
erased
doesn't
all
hurt
the
you
pain.
anymore. Exactly.
All the pain.
Yeah, that's
all
2000. The same thing. The next Yankee championship erases anything that happened before that. So much like 09.
The problem is, man, once you get one, you want another one, bro.
You want
I used to say I just want one.
Listen, I'm in that mode with the Knicks and the Rangers. I just want one cup. Yeah. And not this cup.
I don't know. Knicks are doing decent though.
Brought to you by
who?
West Haven Fire Department.
The West Haven Fire Department.
Shout out to the West Haven Fire Department, who, by the way, the other day, I got to witness firsthand their and the Knicks are down 12 right now because the Knicks have too many guys out injured. Let me see if Brunson's playing tonight. He is. He was out with neck spasms the last game, so we don't have a lot of guys available right now for the Knicks. So the Knicks are kind of just trying to hold tight in the meantime.
What's the record right now?
35-24. Just because, again, I get it. They don't have guys right now to supplement, the losses of Randall and who else? Anunoby. But I think once they get those guys back, they'll be fine. But listen, I've been waiting for that. I've been waiting for that championship from the Rangers and the Knicks forever. We'll see what happens this year. The Rangers have a great shot at it, but you get one, and unless 50 years go by, you learn to be content because you want to play it like the Red Sox did. I'm pretty sure no Red Sox fans were expecting 2007. You get one in 07. Yeah. Okay, that's two. And I could really die in peace. 2013, everything that could go right did go right. Okay, that's another one. I'll take it. 2018, even better. You get four. You can't be greedy. That's the thing.
Yeah, they've been doing good. They've been doing good.
Before I continue, yes. So the West Haven Fire Department, as you can see here, which I work for, responded to a third alarm fire the other day in a neighboring district. And there's more details available online. It's not my place to give all the details, but I got to, in my role as the media specialist, I got to respond with them to the job. And the heroism I witnessed at that fire by EMS personnel, by members of all three fire districts was incredible. It is definitely a job that is not for the faint of heart, and it takes a lot of guts to do. Certainly guts that I don't have.
Yeah, you got to be different, bro.
You got to be different.
You got to be different animal.
We talk about guys that play sports and how they're different. These guys are really different firemen. So a huge shout out to them for the great job they did. It was not an easy fire. It was a lot of different conditions that could have made the job very dangerous, in addition to what was already there and contributing to the danger that was present in the moment. But these guys, like they always do, they bared down and said, all right, this is what it is. We're going to get our job done and get the job done. They did. So very proud to know those guys who work.
Shout out to them, man.
Huge shout out to the West Haven Fire Department, as well as Allentown and the West Shore and their fire departments for the great job at that scene. Now, back to baseball as it was. Yeah, there's exceptions to every rule in Houston. So I have to see, and this is something that we can ask Buster the next time around, if this happens again, and it's going to.
It's going to.
You're going to have to see the reversal because you don't have the drama. I mentioned 2011. I mentioned 2009. You want that. That's part of baseball. And I quote this line by my old friend Mike Rivera all the time: "Leave the baseball alone." And I say it often. You hear me say it often.
You mean leave the baseball alone? Like don't use the ghost runner.
Don't you? And that's another thing, because in Lewis,
I don't mind the ghost runner, bro. I really don't mind.
Shout out to Leche and to Fefa if they're watching. His beautiful bride, and the milkman and Beatrice, his wonderful bride, both of whom I love dearly. And her and I were talking about this. She's a diehard Yankee fan, as am I, and she's like, "Well, she's a supporter of the rule." And my thing is this: is it good enough for the playoffs? No. If you're not deciding a World Series game, or an ALCS or NLCS game with the runner on second rule, and you're playing it as is, straight up, whoever gets the hit wins, the home run or whatever, to push across the winning run, whoever gets that W wins. Why, if it's not good enough for the postseason, why do you have it during the regular season? And as I said before, I'm not putting a gun to your head, and if the game goes 19 innings, saying you better watch all 19 innings, despite the fact you have to go to work or school tomorrow or else. No, you can
The
shut the
thing
game off
is,
whenever.
no. This is the thing. If you started watching the game, you want to watch the ending of it, bro. So you're already deep in it, man. You don't want to just go to sleep. So you want the ghost runner, bro.
I don't want the ghost runner. I want the
You
game to
want
be
the
left
ghost runner.
alone.
You want to be able to see the
Because
ending of the
here's the thing,
game.
it screws over the pitcher who did nothing wrong. There's the pitcher comes in, he deserves to have a clean inning. If he screws it up and he gives up the go-ahead run, okay, then that's on him. But let him lose the game for his team. Let him decide how that game's going to go, because you got relievers picking up losses last year that they didn't deserve. I mean, if
I think
did
they
he
get the
put
L's, but it doesn't go on their ERA. It's not that bad. It's not that bad, bro.
did he put, you got a guy that's 2-7 with an ERA in the ones. Meanwhile, he's getting screwed over by the fact that there's a runner on second every time he comes into the extra innings. There's no reason for it. Did he put him there?
Yo,
Did he
bro,
give up a
I don't
leadoff
mind
double?
it, man. I like the rule, bro.
I hate it. I think it's a disgusting rule.
I didn't like the shift, banning of the shift. No, I didn't like that.
I love the
feel like
banning
you're
of the
able
shift.
to. I feel like you're able to position your players where you want them.
I
Try to hit
have
it the
no
other way or
desire.
something.
I have no desire to watch a shortstop essentially be camped out in right field. If my shortstop and my right fielder are standing shoulder to shoulder, there's a problem. There's a problem. And it's Joe Madden's fault, because Joe Madden, again,
Nah, Joe Madden was playing Tetris out there, bro.
essentially, because the MLB is a league of copycats, and Lewis, you understand this. Shout out to him again. Because he was doing more with less. I mean, this guy had Andy Sunstein as his ace at one point. And shout out to Andy Sunstein, 2008 Rays for life, baby. However, that was
Rays
him
legend.
and Matt Garza were his two aces.
Rays
And in his
legend.
lineup, he had a young Evan Longoria and Carlos Pena blocking time himself. So because of the fact that he was having a whole variety of different players off the scrap heap, he had to resort to those tactics to get ahead in games where certain teams didn't have to do that because they didn't feel the need to. They didn't have to. When you have Mark Teixeira,
Yeah.
for example, at first base and Robbie Cano at second, there's no need for a shift.
Yeah,
Yet Tampa had the need. Tampa had to go out there and play chess when everybody's playing checkers because they were doing more with less. So the rest of the league, instead of sticking to what was working for them, said, we're going to try this too. So now I love it.
They did.
When they did. And I would love it when nobody was covering third base because they shifted on a guy like Brandon Crawford. And he said, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to bunt.
I was listening to Atlanta radio, and they had Austin Riley on there.
Mm-hmm.
And they were asking him about the shift. And I think he said he tracked that due to the shift, in the process of him going from third all the way to second base, that I think he ran about 25 miles throughout the season, just moving from third to the other side on second base with the shift. So he's happy they banned it.
You're taxing your players unnecessarily that way. Play them straight up. If you don't want them to get a hit to that side of the field, you know what? Get them out. It's your job as a pitcher. Get them out.
I got used to it now, but I didn't mind it.
Imagine telling Sparky Lyle, hey, we're going to shift for you. Imagine telling Roger Clemens, we're going to put a shift behind you. No. Leave it up to the pitcher. They're big boys. They get paid to get
Shout out to Roger, bro.
Shout out to Roger Clemens. Hopefully, listen, get the Rocket on the show. Talk about his Yankee years.
Rocket man.
Yeah. Shout out to Mike Piazza. Who we can't get on the show, but who Roger Clemens knows very well. Hey, put it this way. Sorry, Louis. Roger Clemens has a World Series ring. Mike Piazza doesn't.
Oh, man.
You're welcome. That's
How about we end off with some predictions, bro?
Well, we have to talk about the Mets before we do.
Do we really, bro?
Well, because Louis is in the chat. So they're in all seriousness, Louis, the Mets are really annoying me. I'm sure I'm not even a Mets fan.
I think they're going to be competitive, bro.
No, they're not. That's a 75-win team at best.
They're going to get in. They're going to cruise by and get in, bro.
They don't have a rotation. Luis Severino sneezes. Luis Severino throws a fart and is on the DL with a bad back.
They're going to get in, bro. Trust me. Six seed.
I have no confidence in that front office. And quite frankly, I'm disappointed. David Stearns came in and I wasn't expecting him to revamp things overnight. I get it. It's a process. You have to build things. You have to get a sense of where the franchise is. If you're a new guy, you have to get a sense of, okay, here's what we have on our side. Here's what we don't have. Here's what we got to build towards. What's our farm system looking like? I get it. It's not MLB The Show. It's not a video game. You can't just, click a few buttons and boom, voila, you have an 105 win team. It takes a while. But at the same time, I feel like we're back in the Wilpon days. They virtually spent little to no money this offseason, plucking guys off the scrap heap and hoping they're throwing crap against the wall and hoping it sticks. That's
They
what I
still
look
have
at.
Vogelbach, by the way? Oh no, right?
No, that war criminal is no longer on the team, and thank goodness for that. Because I've always been of the belief as a Yankee fan, and I kid around. I want the Yankees to be good. Excuse me. I want the Yankees to be good. Obviously, I'm a Yankee fan. Duh. I want the Mets to be good. I want the Yankees and the Mets to be good at the same time because it's better for the city. The summer of 2006 was great for that reason. The summers of 1999 and 2000 were terrific for that reason. It's fun when we have that little bragging rights going on and we both have teams we can be proud of. We haven't had that in a while. And when Steve Cohen,
bro. It hits different.
It hits different. Those, you lived through those summers. So did our friend Louie. He remembers them. It was great. And it was great for the city. However, we haven't had that in recent years. And I thought with Steve Cohen being there that would change. And unfortunately, it just hasn't because, not enough has been done. I mean, I think they won 101 games a couple of years ago. So I thought we were on the fast track to finally getting some success. And as we can see, it's falling apart.
You say we have a strong core.
I think offensively they do. Pete Alonso hasn't been locked up yet. He should be. Jeff McNeil had a strong year last year. Lindor, he's done his job. You can't knock Lindor. He's done his job. Third base, we'll see what Beatty does. Jury's out on him. I don't know. Outfield, Marte's back. He's healthy. Nimmo, I love. I don't know who else is in their outfield. Oh, Bader. Well, Bader I like. When Bader's healthy, he's a solid addition.
Bader's good. Yeah, Bader's
and
good.
Alvarez, not Mejia. Mejia is the other catcher. I get them mixed up sometimes. Francisco Alvarez. Yeah. We'll see listen, he looks like he could finally be the first guy since Piazza that can hold that position down. Yeah. Offensively, I like what they have. Offensively, I think it's a good lineup. Pitching wise is where I'm concerned.
They're gonna get in, bro. They're gonna get in. I'm telling you, they're trying to.
It's gonna be because of their offense. It's not gonna be because of their pitching. They don't have good pitching. They have
Diaz. Say we're not gonna be competitive. Yada yada yada. They're gonna get in, bro.
Well, I want them to.
They're gonna get in as a 6
I want them to. They have Diaz in the back of the bullpen, and it's kind of like, okay, well, who's getting him there, or who's getting you to him? I should say. I don't trust their bullpen, and I don't like.
Still have Ottavino?
Yeah, well, he's good. I should. Yeah, so you know what, Ottavino and Diaz. Who's getting you to the eighth inning? Who's getting you to the eighth inning? Because you hand the ball to Otto, and then you hand the ball to Diaz, and your eighth and your ninth inning is taken care of. Listen, closers are going to have off nights. Even Mariano had off nights. It happens.
Yeah,
but you're for the most part, 98% of the time, your eighth and ninth inning is going to be taken care of. It's everything before that. Can Severino give you 5 innings? How many starts is he going to miss? And I'm not trying to be a pessimist. I saw Severino. It would madden me too. He looks like he's on a roll. He looks like he's figuring it out. Things are going well. He's mowing guys down left and right. Boom! Here comes an injury. All of a sudden,
didn't they get Sean Manaea, or am I bugging?
Sean Manaea he's on the Mets now too, which is a good pickup because he's healthy.
That's a good pickup, bro.
I don't know, but are they better than Florida? I'm not going to call them the Miami Marlins. They're always going to be the Florida Marlins team. You play for the whole state of Florida, not just the city. Are they better than the Florida Marlins? I don't know. They're better than the Nationals, obviously. That's a given. They're definitely better than the Nationals. Nationals stink. Everybody's better than Nationals. Are they better than Florida? They're not better than Philadelphia. I don't think.
Florida. Well, the Marlins have some good pitching.
They definitely have some better pitching than the Mets.
Yeah.
So they're neck and neck.
But I'm saying in the National League, do you see 5 teams? Do you see 5 teams better than them in the National League? Obviously, Braves, Phillies, Dodgers. You have 2 more teams that are better than them. I don't think so, bro. The Central is weak.
The Cubs could be.
So you're only going to have 1 team coming out of there, probably. I would say.
I don't think it's going to be Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee's kind of due for a rebuild.
I mean, the Giants made some moves.
I'm not. It's not moving me. It's not moving me. Honestly, the Giants, and I have nothing against them. Historic franchise, great for our sport. Happy to always see them do well.
Never mind. I think the Mets just might miss it, bro. Because I think the Diamondbacks and the the Padres might take
Well,
that
what are
the
they
last
aiming for?
spot.
Because with this stupid new format, teams aren't aiming for excellence anymore. They don't want to be the Braves and win 101 games and get knocked out in the
And get
DS because they
knocked
had
out.
too much rest. Or they don't want to be the Yankees from a couple years ago, win
I
99
hope we don't
games.
win the division this year, bro. I hope we don't win the division.
Isn't it sad to say that?
It's terrible, bro. But I'm really hoping the Phillies
If we
can get the division, bro.
for
Honestly,
context, because Lewis is a part of these conversations too, and so is Torres and Lich and everybody else. Let's say we could go back in the time machine and imagine instead of February 2024, it's February 2000. And we're having this conversation right now about the upcoming year. And I'm being a really braggadocious Yankee fan because my team's coming off 3 championships in 4 years, including sweeping you guys in the last World Series. However,
this guy.
if we're having this conversation in February of 2000, what are we saying? Besides, obviously, we hope our team wins the World Series. What's Louis going to be saying to you? The Mets are going to take the division this year. We got not Henderson. We got Alfonso. We got Ventura. We got Piazza. We got Mike Hampton. We're going to take it. And then you be bragging about how you got Chipper and Andrew. You got Greg Maddux and Tom Glavine, and you're going to be talking about winning the division. That was the goal. Fast forward almost a quarter century, and what are we talking about now?
We don't want it, bro. We don't want it.
That's the Manfred effect. There's TLE, and you know what that stands for? I'm not going to say it. And then there's TME, which is the Manfred effect.
Yeah, we don't want it, bro.
Well, that's it. So we'll end it with predictions. I'm saying the Yankees go 94 and 68 if they get Snell. If they get Snell, that gives them an extra couple of wins. If they don't get Snell, 90 and 72.
How about getting Montgomery back, bro? You don't want your boy back?
I would take him. I never wanted to see him leave. That was a dumb shit. I mean, back, man. Bader was good, but I'm like, I don't know why they let Montgomery go. I like Jordan Montgomery.
Back, man.
Either him or Snell. If they get one of those two guys, 94 wins. I'm going to say for the Mets, 83 and 79. If the offense lives up to its billing. If the offense sputters, 79.
What was their record last year?
75 and 87. Braves,
I give them 81, bro.
81 and 81. All right, yeah, that's about right. Unless they really revamp their pitching. I like their lineup. I don't like their pitching. Braves, I'll say 97 and 65. You can't win 100 games every year.
I'm gonna say we probably gonna get 101, bro.
101. You got 101 the last 2 years. I mean, eventually you kind of have to scale it back a little bit, unless you win more. You could always win.
No, I think didn't we get 104 last year?
Oh, 104. You're right. You did get 104. The year before that was 101.
Before that, yeah. I think we go back down to 101.
All right. Yeah, you know what? Fine. I'll change mine. I'll get 101 and 61. Is there any other team that's relevant? I mean, the Boston Red Sox. I guess if there's any Red Sox fans in the chat, we'll throw one in there.
Yeah, we might have some.
Red Sox, being completely unbiased because their pitching is not good. It's just not. 78 and 84.
I was thinking 79.
That's about right. 79. Yeah. That's about right. Same thing as the Mets. Good offense, horrible pitching. Pitching wins.
Now, what do you think is winning the East, though? The AL East. I'm going Orioles again.
Yeah, Orioles. The Yankees would have to do a lot to win the AL East. A lot. And I don't think they have enough currently to overcome a team like Baltimore, who won 101 games last year. AL Central, that's anybody's division, really. The Indians had a down
year. Royals, baby.
That'd be a heck of a turnaround. Yeah, I'll take the Twins again. I think the Twins will get it. Yeah, I think the Indians have a little bit of revamping to do.
That's a safe call.
The AL West. I'm going to give it to Seattle.
I'm going Angels, bro. Ron Washington effect.
Ron Washington.
Yeah, call me crazy, bro. Royals, Angels. Call me crazy if you want.
When the Angels are 30 games under 500 in August, I'll make sure I bookmark the conversation. Yeah, the Angels are right. Yeah, no, Anthony Rendon, who hates baseball and would rather be, I don't know, plucking seashells off the beach. Mike Trout, who gets hurt, sneezing.
Ron Washington's different, bro. He's gonna change that whole clubhouse.
He'll make them respectable, but they don't have enough. And their pitching, same thing. You thought the Mets pitching was bad. The Mets pitching looks like the 95 Braves compared to the LA Angels. Ohtani was holding that team together with the string as far as the pitching went. So that
NL West, we don't even gotta ask. We already know
who's
taking that one.
That's the
Definitely
Dodgers.
Dodgers.
Central, I don't care. I'll give it to the Cubs. And the East, I'll give it to you guys. You're
Central, I'm gonna go. No, Phillies, bro. Give it to the Phillies, bro. We don't want
you're gonna end up getting it by default.
it. Yo, we don't want it, bro.
You have too much
But
talent.
NL Central, I think I'm gonna go with the
You have too much talent. Deal with it.
probably Cubs. You're right.
This
I
is
think
this
Cubs
is
will
this
take
is
it.
this is the benefit, or in your case, the problem of having a
boy.
loaded team. You're gonna win 102 games, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, what a bad format.
Poor you.
What a terrible format, though. It's a great record, great team at a terrible time, bro.
Yeah,
because of the format.
It's a good way to put it.
Because of the format.
I like that analogy a lot.
Terrible, man.
That's a good. I like that description.
You literally had one of the best offensive teams.
You needed this team 5 years ago.
5 years ago, bro. I mean, we literally won it with. Well, I don't even remember what the record was in
88 and 74.
88 wins. And then you have a team with 104 and 101 wins, and you can't get out the first round, bro. That's
because you beat the Brewers in 4 that year, and you beat the Dodgers in 6, and then you beat the Astros in 6.
Yep.
Yeah, I have to see. Listen, I'm.
You know what? I'm gonna go downstairs and watch that again. That'll make me feel better for tonight.
Don't give up hope. Keep hope alive. You know, there's always. I've done that. You know, listen, I haven't seen a championship. You don't realize how hard it is. I mean, in any sport, I haven't seen a championship of any of my teams since the Giants beat the Patriots a second time.
There's a few things I like watching. I like watching the 21 World Series, 2015 World Series, and the 2006
NLCS.
NLCS.
Lewis is gonna kill you the next time he sees you. For Leap Day today.
Yeah, shout out to my Mets fans, man. I love
the Andy Chavez highlight from 06, and that was the game they probably should have won. Yeah, God, I thought you would say the 95 World Series at least. Lewis says shame.
No. Let's highlight that. Hold on.
Yes.
Gotta highlight that real quick.
Love you, Louie. See you soon, buddy.
But wait, you said 95? You know, I got a VHS downstairs.
You might as well.
World Series. I got
the game's on YouTube.
It's like the whole World Series film type of thing.
Yeah, I think that's on YouTube from 1995.
It probably is, honestly. But I want to convert it into DVD.
That was an underrated World Series. People don't talk a lot about that one, but because that decade you had Twins and the Braves in 91, which I'm not saying that to make fun of the Braves. That was an epic World Series, as you know. From a baseball standpoint, Marlins Indians in 1997, that was epic. So there was a few 1993 with the Joe Carter walk-off. So it gets overshadowed because there were so many great classic series in that time frame. But the 95 World Series is a good one, man. Those were two great teams, man. That Indians team was loaded. They won 100 games in a 144 game season, if you remember.
I feel like, honestly, not thinking about it, all the World Series in the 90s were pretty epic, bro.
Well, let's go through the list. 90.
Go back to them.
The Reds,
except for 99. 99 wasn't epic. 99 was a disaster.
Take my Yankee cap off for a second. There was one game in that series that was good from a dramatic standpoint. That was Game 3. If you're watching it with no rooting interest, it's a good game because the Yankees were down 5-1. They mounted the comeback. They went out on a walk-off home run by Chad Curtis in the 10th. So from a drama but overall, from a drama standpoint, yeah, I mean, most of those games were not close. Same thing with 98. 98 was
98.
Yeah. So, but if you go through the decade, 90, the Reds, 97.
Go back from 90. Sorry. My bad.
90.
Go from 90.
That's fine. Reds beat the crap out of the Athletics. 5-game series. 91 epic World Series. That Game 7 is one of the best games in the history of the sport. Between the Twins and the Braves. Jack Morris's legendary pitching performance. 92 was pretty good. I mean, the Blue Jays won that World Series in extras on a go-ahead hit. I think Paul Molitor got the hit. 93, the Joe Carter walk-off. 94, unfortunately, the strike killed that. 95, very good World Series. And that Game 6, that the clincher.
That was a classic matchup, though.
Yep. That was Oral Hershiser against Tom Glavine, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
It was a 1-0 game. David Justice won that game with the home run.
After he had just gone off on the fans.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
He backed it up.
David Justice, of course, one of the more underrated Yankees of all time, and one of the best trades Brian Cashman ever made. Helped the Yankees win the World Series in 2000 as well. So he's very much loved in Atlanta. He's very much loved in New York as well. Shout out to David Justice. 96, again, dramatic standpoint.
That was good. 96 was
Yankees,
good.
especially that game 4, which the Yankees looked like they were dead in the water, came back.
That was a turning point right there, bro.
Well, the Jim Leyritz home run in game 4. And then 1997, that game 7, I watched that game 7 the other day. Al Leiter started that game for the Marlins, and then I think Jarrett Wright was 21 years old, and he pitched well. I think he pitched into the 7th inning. He left. He was up 2-1.
Boy, had ice in his veins, bro.
Bobby, except when he was a Yankee, but that's a different story. Bobby Bonilla hit a home run in that game. And,
yeah, those in his veins at that point.
Yeah. Jose Mesa blew it in the 9th inning. Craig Counsell, I think, came through with like a sac fly. And he ended up scoring the winning run when Edgar Renteria got the base hit. 98, Yankees just demolished the Padres. Game 1 was good because they came back. Game 3 was good because they came back. Otherwise, it wasn't much to write home about. 99, that was it. And then, that was that decade. So of that whole decade, I guess you could say the best one is either a toss-up between 1991 and 1997 in terms of drama.
Yeah. Yep.
I'd give it to 97 because if you win it,
I'll say 97, yeah.
Yeah.
Walk that off. Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
so the Twins did too. But yeah. Well, we made an hour out of it. Again, I wouldn't count this as episode 306.
This is a bonus.
This is just we're going to call this producer's corner. We'll take Darren's name of circling the bases, which is pretty much what we did.
Run the bases. Here we go.
We were run the bases. Yeah, sorry, not circling. Run the bases. And shout out to Darren, who's getting it done as a firefighter up in Canada. Much love to you, brother. One of the biggest supporters of this show.
Stay safe, bro.
Stay safe indeed. Coming up next on the Mike the New Haven podcast will be episode 306, which is Tony Johnson. Tony Johnson was an NYPD emergency service unit officer. I think he was in Truck 4 in the Bronx primarily. So he has a lot of stories from being a cop out there, which will be fun. So I'm looking forward to hearing Tony's stories for what will be another volume of the E-Men inside the NYPD's emergency service unit. Always love doing ESU shows, as you guys know. And I think who is next up on the docket for March 8th? Oh, yes. He was a lieutenant in FDNY Squad 61, Special Operations Lieutenant. I think he was also in Rescue 4 for a period of time in Queens. It's going to be Mike Roy. So we have ESU, E-Men inside the NYPD's emergency service unit this upcoming Wednesday as we head into March. And then the best of the bravest interviews with the FDNY's elite. So we're booked pretty deep. We're not booked in the June. We're booked in the late May. And we'll keep pushing this along. We're on the march to 400. We got past 300. So we're building towards 400. We're expanding with different interviews. And as you can see tonight, even when the situation doesn't go our way, we can make something out of nothing. So shout out to everybody for spending an hour with us for what was a bonus segment. And on behalf of producer Vic, Mike Colón, and Jax, also known as Morty. I am Mike Colón.
He's out there.
We will see you next time. Have a great weekend, everybody. And we'll see you with an actual guest, of course, this Wednesday.